Hello everyone, it's Skyee here, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new. So I am super excited because today we are going to be going in and finishing our color along. This is part 5, the final part. I am so thrilled. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. So if you don't know already, we've been coloring in Whimsy Girls Celebrate the Holidays by Hannah Lynn. This is her newest book, and we have been working on Easter Sunday. We don't have a whole lot left to do. She's turning out so amazing so far, in my opinion. I'm a little bit nervous about the final outcome, but I'm really excited to see how everything comes together. I'm hoping that it'll be as I pictured, or at least close to, or at the very least, good. So I do have a couple pieces of paper in behind this page to protect the pages behind it. And aside from that, we're going to dive on in. There's quite a few different mediums that we're going to be using for this, or I guess 2 different mediums, maybe more if I decide to throw them in, but it's going to be a little bit of a complicated part, but it's going to be worth it. And I figured the best thing to do is to start on her hair, so we'll do that first, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so there was 3 different options for her hair. We were thinking blonde. I was also considering making her a redhead or like orange toned hair, mostly because of her freckles. And then the third option that was actually suggested to me by one of the admins in the Hannah Lynn group, because she just colored a page with a color combo similar to this, was this one. And I think we're going to go wild and we're going to go with this one. I'm really hoping that it turns out, but we will see. Okay, so to start, I think I'm going to go through and base everything with the cream. I would like to have all of her hair in frame. Is that possible? I don't want to be too zoomed out either. Let's keep it here. I'll just try and remember to move it up and down. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the cream, and we're just going to do a light base over everything with this. You know what I think we can do? Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we'll make sure that above her hands, everything above her hands for hair is in view, and then hopefully that'll remind me that if I'm working down here that I need to push it up a little bit. So we'll try that and see. All right, let's do this. I'm so nervous. Do you think I need to grab my dioxazine purple hue is getting pretty small, so I'm gonna pop him in one of these things if it will let me. Okay. I think I want this sharper. A little bit nervous, so a sharp point should help. Oh, this one was the one that kept breaking on me. You stop that. You're my favorite pencil. Well, one of. I got a few favorites. This is definitely on the list and it's getting on my nerves. There we go. It's a little better. So we're gonna have the dark purple, or the diox purple, coming down from the roots. So for the most part, all of this is gonna be colored in. And we're mostly just gonna kind of bring it down in flicking motions. So we can fade it out here. Let's go a little bit darker in at the top and then we'll fade it out. And then we can put our little pencil flicks in there after. Add a little bit of shading on either side of these lines. Generally, I usually do the shading on the right side for anything that goes off kind of this direction, and then the right side for anything that goes this direction. I don't know why, that's just, I go by what it looks like to me. So just create our own little flicks in here. Do different pressures. We can do some darker, some lighter. I'm gonna put a little bit of this darker color back here. Maybe a little bit from the roots here. This hairstyle kind of confuses me. I'm not really sure what to do for shadows here. So we're just gonna kind of wing it. We'll maybe just color these strands like we would normally. So we'll just do a gradient from dark to light on each separate piece. A little bit of a shadow just underneath where this loose strand kind of flies away here. So run these flicking motions through pretty much everywhere. So everywhere where we have this color, we're going to flick it up or down, depending on where it is. So what I mean by that, for example, is for here, we don't have any above this line, so we're only going to be flicking from here down. We're not going to be going up. Here we had a little bit on that line, so we can flick a little bit down. So basically just flicking lines from where we've already colored, if that makes sense. I don't really know. A little bit of a shadow under here. I feel like this is like a piece framing her face, so let's maybe just shadow around that. Probably helps if this is somewhere on the page where you guys can see it, huh? I'm gonna sharpen this up a little bit more. And it broke on me again. Might just have to bite the bullet and grab my new pencil for this one. You behave yourself. Her hair would also look good as like a silvery purple. Oh, that's the apron. What am I doing? Eraser. There we go. Now I'm torn again. Just out of curiosity, I have to see how that would look. I think I kind of like that better. Darn it. Guys, I have a problem. I'm so indecisive. I really like that though, but I like this too. Okay. We're going silvery purple, guys. I'm sorry, I'm changing this up on you. I'm the worst, I know. I just really like how that looks. So, okay, let's come in with the violet. We're going to use this to kind of divide between the two. So this is only going to be 3 colors now instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors that I originally had out. Can't see, back up here, okay. There we go. Just making flicky motions for now. I don't know why I never thought of this hair color before. Sometimes I just get a color down on a page and then I'm just like, inspiration hits and it's like, hey, you should do that. Hopefully you guys are okay with me switching it last minute. I would really like to do that hair color on a different girl though. Thinking maybe even on her, but I don't know if I want to color this page again for a while. Puppy's dreaming. I never tell if he's having bad dreams or if he's just like chasing squirrels or something. I mean, he's never seen a squirrel, but he might chase them in his sleep, who knows. Here we go back in with the dioxazine purple hue. Now that I've finally got a plan. Was this actually apron or... I think I colored it in his apron, but it might be... I'm just going to leave it. It's fine. So I'm just going to make sure the shadows are really shadowy. It's really dark in English. Add a few more darker lines here and there. Really darken up some of these shadows. I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to grab the violet for another quick second and just add a little bit in there. And then other than that, we're just going to go in with the grade lavender, and we're going to start off light because I might want to add another color in there. I'm not really sure. Let's see if I can find the swatch for this super quick here. We've used so many colors for this page. I've got so many swatches out. It's crazy because I keep all of them together because I like to try and use the same colors throughout a page. So I always keep the pencils and the swatches out while working on something color along wise anyways. There we go. Of course, is the bottom one. Should have gone from the other side. All right. So I'm going to come in and color this normally lightly, light pressure, but I'm just going to go following the pencil strokes that we put in. So it's mostly just going to be an up and down motion rather than little circles, no side to side, because I don't want to smudge the colors together. We'll end up losing those really crisp lines if we do that. Oh, she's so cute. She's like all purple. My mom would love this page. That's her favorite color, is purple. This was not my intentions. This page just kind of took on a life of its own, and it just, I don't know, it just spoke to me. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit darker because I think this is good. I don't think I'm going to put in any other color in here. I was debating white, but I kind of like that darker look, especially since everything else is just so pastel. I think that this will really throw some contrast into the page, and I think maybe this is why that purple stood out to me so much, is because everything else is just super bright. And I think this is what the page needed. It was just something a little bit darker. I just didn't know it yet. And on the plus side, this is still not a natural hair color, so there's that. I might go over all of this with my blender pencil, because this pencil is pretty soft. It does not really want to burnish the page. I'd have to push extremely hard to get it to do that. And then I think it would dull the colors down too much. Okay, good. I was freaking out. Wait, did I pull this back up? I intend for her skin to be very pale too, so I think that'll also help with the contrast of her hair. I think she's going to look just divine. I always worry about coloring my favorite pages, and this one was definitely one of them in this book. I don't even know why, like, I'm not a huge fan of Easter. I think I said that in one of the previous parts, but this page just, I don't know, it caught my eye. I'm gonna blame the hair though. I love braids, and I love the way Hannah draws them. And you got those gorgeous fluffy trees. I like when she leaves open area like this, so that way I can add in grass and stuff, which I've only ever done once, but I found out that I really like doing that. Okay, let's come back up here. Since I'm going to use my blender pencil, I am going to add just a few more lines. Especially with the, oh, that was the violet. I was wondering why that wasn't so dark. Okay, let's try this again. This is dioxazine purple hue. And this is violet. I'd like to bring some kind of down into this area here, so that way it's not just all grade lavender. There, give it a little bit more dimension, and then blender pencil. And I probably don't need to speed this part up, but I probably will because it's going to be really boring. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and do the exact same thing that I did with the grade lavender. I'm going to go in and just burnish this and blend it out following the lines. of that was in frame, unfortunately, but thankfully nothing too important anyways. So now, let's see, I can get rid of these colors because I'm not going to use them. Actually, technically, we did still use that one. So we based it with the cream, which probably didn't really need to, but I'll keep that in anyways. Alright, so now skin. Just gonna make sure we don't have any little spots. Any that we do that I can see, I'm just going to erase. That way the color doesn't smudge. Okay, so we got light peach. So a little bit of color came down from her hair here. I'm gonna get rid of that too, just to play it safe. Okay, so the only thing that we are coloring is her face, and then the little kids in the background. We'll do their skin too. So let's base their skin with the peach, or light peach. We're going to come in with the Parma Violet. I don't think I want to use too much of this. So let's see, she's going to have a shadow kind of along her neck here where her hair kind of comes over it. And then of course she's going to have a shadow under her chin. I don't want the shadows to be too dark. I'm going to keep them to kind of a medium tone. Really light shadowing on her face here. A little bit darker under her lip. And her nose. I don't know if I want to give her an actual nose. I think I'm going to leave it this time. Usually I add noses, but since she's got a bunny nose, I think we'll just leave it as is, otherwise it's going to look funny. little bit of a darker shadow underneath her hairline here. Or I guess bangs, technically. Do a shadow at the top of her nose too. I don't know, I just feel like I should. I think that's about as crazy as I'm gonna go with shadows. So let's come in with the nectar and we'll neutralize the purple. Again, just really light with this color too. I want to add just enough that the purple starts to look like a skin color instead of purple. I'm gonna go really light on the cheeks because we are gonna add a little bit of blush still. I'm only coloring up to here on her eye. So I basically just pretend that this line kind of extends to where it hits the eyelashes. I keep that as the white of her eye, so I'm not gonna color any more up there. Same with this, I'm not going to color up in here at all, I'm going to leave that white. Grab a sip of coffee. I'm gonna make this, I can't remember what this is called, I used to remember. It's like the, I think they call it like the Cupid's bow of the lip. I can't remember. But anyways, that little part on your lip that kind of has those lines that comes up to your nose. I'm doing a terrible job explaining that, but I'm gonna darken that part up and then shadow that up around her nose. Oh, can't forget about down here too. So this I'm going to go a little bit darker because this is going to be a darker shadow here, but still not too much. Peach is the next color. I'm going to bring this out from the shadows at about a medium pressure, and then I'm just going to lightly fade it out, but I'm still going to color over the highlights. Just lightly. With her face, I'm not using any medium pressure at all, just super soft, still just kind of mapping that color in here. Now I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but unfortunately I have two deep lines on this page. Sometimes that just happens. I don't really know why. I'm guessing it's something that happens in printing, or there's like some kind of defect on the paper. Sometimes it could be from pushing down too hard on pages before this one. However, I've not colored in this book, so I know that that's not the case. It's just a printing thing, super annoying, but I should be able to smooth it out to where it's not super noticeable. at the very least. Okay, up here I can kind of use a little bit of that medium pressure because I want this shadow to be a little bit darker, and we're not adding blush up here, so I'm not too worried about saving paper or saving tooth or anything. Just gonna bring this down the center of her nose here and just fade it out on either side. Okay, let's add our blush in. So I'm going to go in with the Processed Red. I just want a tiny little bit of this. Don't want to add too much color to her face. So I'm going to do Processed Red just in the very corner. Fade it out. And then Hot Pink. Bring this out a little bit further, and I usually bring the blush out kind of in like a circular kind of shape, fading it out, of course, so not like sharp edges or anything. But I usually have it ending around the middle of the pupil, so I would be fading it off right here. And just lightly blending that out. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. It's not going to come out quite as far. Just put to the middle of the pupil. Like that. And I'm not sure if I want to burnish with light peach or white. So let's start off with the light peach. Down here, we'll try it because down here I want this to be darker anyway. So we're going to burnish this with the light peach. So I'm just going to start with a soft kind of touch. I'm going to start moving that color around, and I'm gradually increasing my my pressure as I move that pigment around, blending everything together. Color in these little dots with this color too. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in with the light peach and I'm going to blend and burnish around the shadows, but when we get to these highlights, I'm going to fade it off. I'm lightly going to color over everything, but these areas here, so I've got a highlight on this cheek, and then on either side of her nose. I'm just going to lightly color over those, and I will burnish those with the white. That way it's lighter. So lightly going over it. I think I need a little bit more of the pretty lavender here. I don't think I colored that spot in. It's a little too white for my liking. Okay, lightly gonna fade this out and up to here, and I just kind of lightly blend my lightest color, or lightest skin color anyways, just slightly into the whites of her eyes. That way it's just like a very subtle stop, so you can tell that's the white of her eyes, but it's still got the skin there. There's no harsh line. It just looks a lot more softer. I should say it looks a lot softer, not more softer. Terrible English today, I apologize. fade out. Right around here. Bless you, bear. Just make sure we've got a good amount of that skin color in there though. Haven't been able to get rid of these white lines. Let's see if we can with the white. We'll make sure that the white is clean. Let's just go over everything, make sure it's all burnished. That way we don't miss anything. And that way it matches, because I'm going to try and go over these lines really with a really solid pressure. Oh, that made those lines slightly less noticeable at least. I don't think I'm going to be able to fully get rid of them. I don't even know if the camera is picking them up. I think it looks okay. Okay, so I used all of these colors. I think we're pretty much done with the colored pencil now. Maybe not. Let's come in with the black. I don't really want to use Posca pen. I could use fine liner. Let's do that actually. We'll use fine liner instead of the black. Just for her eyes here, we'll get those done. At least started. I'm going to have to turn her a little bit. I'm just going to use a black fine liner to come in and darken her eyes back up. Color in the pupil. You want to outside? One second, guys. It's a little bit tedious doing this with a fine liner. It definitely fights over the wax of the pencils. But I definitely have a little bit more control too. So there's definitely pros and cons. Alright, there's one done. Okay, there's eyelashes done. I'm gonna grab a brown fine liner and I'm going to accentuate these freckles a little bit. Let them dry slightly. I didn't really let them dry. I kind of dried them off with my finger. But then I'm just going to lightly go, oop, that one wasn't dry. Just going to lightly go over them with my light peach, just to lighten them up. Because I don't have a lighter brown than that, unfortunately. Actually, maybe the white would work better for that. A little bit of that. Definitely got some wax bloom going on there, more than usual because I pushed really hard there, but that's okay. Oh, I totally forgot about the kids' arms. How could I forget about the children? Okay, let's use my nectar. Just gonna add a little bit of shadow. It's not really too much I can do on these guys anyways, but and then I think we'll just use light peach. Finish coloring their skin in. I'm maybe going to use this brown pen too to maybe bring his features back out a little bit. That way it's not super dark, but it's doesn't look like he has no face, because that would be weird. So now all we really have left to do is a couple finishing touches and the floofiness, which, you know, I really thought that this would only take me an hour. I'm always wrong on my time. Oh, thing over. Okay, so we're gonna grab, I'm just going to use white acrylic paint. I'm going to use my Simply acrylic. And I'm going to get stuff ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a towel to clean my paintbrush on. I use old receiving blankets because I have no use for these anyways. You can use paper towel if you'd like. I've got my Daler Rowney Simply acrylic, my paintbrush. You can use any kind of paintbrush you want. I like these ones. I believe this is a Daler Rowney one. Not 100% sure, but it's a number 4 round. And I do prefer the round brushes when doing stuff like this, just because they make better flicking motions than any other ones. So they're called round just because they're rounded at the tip. I also have some water to clean my paintbrush and a spray bottle to dilute the paintbrush, but you can just run a little bit of water or dump a little bit of water into your paint. So I'm going to have some solid white paint here, and then I'm going to dilute some paint here. So I'm just going to give this paint a couple squirts. I'm going to use a bigger paintbrush to mix that in though, just to save some time. Might be too diluted, I'm not sure yet. Okay, let's try that and see. She's so cute. I love her. Okay. We'll start on her ears. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm actually going to flip her upside down. I hope that doesn't bother you guys. But just because I want the flicking motions, I mean, I could do them the other way. Yeah, okay, let's go this way. Sorry. Spinny, spinny. Okay. So let's test this out and see. I think this is decent enough. You just don't want it super opaque. So I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm just going to make these swipey motions up, and I'm just lightly bringing it over the line and just flicking it out. Now the first couple layers, we want them to kind of be there, but we don't want them to be very noticeable. So that's why it's so opaque, and then we can get the paint up to where, or not opaque, translucent is the word I'm looking for. Don't want to color in on her hair. But yeah, that's why our paint is so translucent right now, because we just kind of want to get a feel for it. I have a little bit coming over into the ears here too. Now I'm gonna have to tilt this though, so that way I can get these brush strokes in here. So that's going to give us a general idea of kind of what it's going to look like. I'm going to dip into my opaque paint now. So this is my non-diluted paint. I'm going to run this on these thicker lines on the outside and just a slightly on this one line on the inside. And this doesn't have to be super neat, because once we get all of those little fur brush strokes in there, it's not going to be noticeable at all. But we mostly just want to get rid of that black line a little bit so it's easier to cover up. Otherwise, we're going to have to do more layers than we really need to, just to cover the line up. Same thing, I'm gonna come in slightly over both of these lines on this here. Please tell me I was in frame for that. Okay. I don't think I was. That's okay. We're just doing base work anyways, so let's just focus for now on getting rid of the black lines. Her ears are still fairly wet, but I think we can do another layer on them, and I can actually show you, just in case I was out of frame. I think I was, which is unfortunate. Okay. So we're actually going to start on this tip. I'm going to have to rotate this way though. Now we don't have to cover all of the blue up, or whatever color you chose to do for your base. I just want to get these strokes in there, and we actually want to work from the bottom down because the fur down below would be kind of overlapping the fur at the top. And if this is something that you're a little bit worried about, you can always practice on a piece of paper first. There's definitely no harm in that because acrylic paint is not very easy to take off, so it is kind of something that you have to be a little bit careful with. Let's come down to these little shoulder bits here. So I'm going to turn this one this way. I'm going to start on the outside, and I'm just going to make, basically just going to turn this into a puff ball, honestly. So I'm just going to like just random little fuzzy bits going out over the edge. And then I'm going to work my way in. It's going to be a little bit tricky with the hair. We're going to try not to go over that because that's technically in front of this. So let's do this little bit too while we're here. This one, same thing. Just going to add little flicky motions going over the outline of this. We're going to have to do this in a few different goes because we have to wait for it to dry in between. However, I'm cheating and using my hairdryer. Again, just to save time. So now I'm going to take some of that opaque paint that we have here and I'm going to mix it into just a little corner of our watered down paint to kind of create a kind of like a medium translucency. Don't know if that's a word, but then we're just going to do the same thing. It's been a while since I painted in fur. I forgot how relaxing it is. So if I'm quiet, I do apologize. I'm just kind of in my own head. We got a Lilo at the door. Lilo! Definitely sounds like her. Come on. Come on, girl. You doing well? Hi. Are you coming? Hi. Can you say hi to everyone? You know. That's good. Okay, let's come down to here. We'll work on the little puff ball sleeve things. Don't really know what to call them. What, you didn't want to be trapped in here? She sometimes just gets mad that the door is closed. She doesn't really want in here, she just doesn't want the door closed. Well, you're gonna have to wait, lady. These sleeves confuse me, but I think I'm gonna like puff them out this way, and the part where it's like straight, I'm just gonna kind of go from there. And definitely feel free to clean off your paintbrush if it's getting a little bit goopy. I always say that this is like my way of making fur, like the easy way, but honestly it's not any less time consuming. I think I just prefer painting, so painting in fur to me is easier than doing it in colored pencil. Okay, I'm gonna blow dry this. I'll be right back. That's definitely starting to take shape. I really am liking this. Okay, so I'm gonna start working straight in with the just full on acrylic, not watered down. I'm gonna be doing a lot of dipping because I mostly just want the acrylic to be right on the tip of the paintbrush, and it's gonna run out a lot, so. I think we might only need to do one more coat after this, we'll see. For the ears anyways, those little poofs, might have to do a few more. Yeah, we'll do as many as it takes. How precious do those little bunny ears look? They're so cute. The tricky part is we don't want to get rid of the blue entirely because that's what's going to make the fur look three-dimensional. It's going to make it look realistic. But we definitely do want that white to really show through. So basically just do as many layers as we need to get there. bit colored over her hair there, but it's not too noticeable, so I'm just going to leave it instead of trying to smudge it off. Okay, hair dryer, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm probably gonna do one more coat on the ears and then at least 2 on her sleeves, just because they still look fairly blue, and I want them to look more like the ears where they look white with blue underneath. That's what we're going for. So, come back up to the bunny ears. Last coat for these guys, I think. And my paint was starting to sludge up, so I just put down a little bit of new paint. We want to make sure that we don't overdo it too much, because if you end up putting too much white and we lose that blue, then it's not going to look so three-dimensional. It's going to start looking flat. So there's definitely a fine line. I think if we do any more than this, we'll start crossing it. We don't want that. Toying with the thought of giving her little bunny whiskers too, but I don't know if I want to or not. Okay, for these little puffballs, I'm going to do longer lines. That will get them colored faster and also makes it easier to make them look poofy since it's such a big area. So I like the ears. They're done for sure. And then I think we might only need one more layer on the big puff balls. I'm not sure about the sleeves. I like the looks of this one. This one, however, could use a little bit more work. So I'm going to dry this off. We'll add one more layer to this and then we'll see how it looks. All right. It's dry enough. Alright, there we go. I actually think that looks good there. I don't think I need to add any more. So I just close my water before that turns into a disaster. We'll add highlight to her eyes here. I'm just going to use my Uniball Signal White for that. A little bit of gloss, maybe a little bit of shine on her nose. I do kind of want to bring her lips out a little bit. I know I kind of wanted them to be very subtle when I first colored them, but now that everything else is colored, I think I do want them to stand out a little bit. So I'm just going to take the Process Red and I'm going to outline them. Just like that. I think that's everything done except one more thing that I want to do. So I'm going to grab my clear stickles here and I'm going to stickle up the designs on these eggs. So I'm going to do the green on this one. The little blue zigzags on this one, the dots on this one, the blue on this one, dots again, stripes, and then all of the pink on this one. Yeah, and why not? We'll glitter up the pink on the candy bar too. And should we glitter up the bunny or leave him? I don't know. Let's glitter up his bow. Why not? Mr. Bunny deserves a little bit of sparkliness too. There. And with that, I think we are done. So let's just zoom out here. Oh, she is so cute. I am extremely happy with how she turned out. I'll see if I can get a little bit more light in here. Don't know if that made a difference or not, but she looks so cute. I'm gonna not put my hand in the paint, but yeah, as I put my hand in the other paint, I meant glitter glue. I was trying to avoid the glitter glue hit the paint. Ironically, I said paint as I hit it. And this is clouds. Oh, the uniballs are the best and the worst. Oh yeah, I guess these are gonna be white anyways. There we go. I almost forgot that. Now I think we got everything. I think I said I would forget that too. Okay, I am just looking at her and she needs whiskers. Honestly, I have to add them. Feel free to not add them if you don't want to, but I'm gonna use acrylic paint just because I can make these beautiful little flicks. I'm gonna do the other side as well. Maybe just a couple little dots. I'll use my Signo for that. If it will let me. Posca pen. I'm just gonna darken these up. Posca pen's not gonna work. Let's just continue with paint. I like it all except for this bottom one went a little too thick. I'm going to see if I can fix that with just some water. Usually if you can work at acrylic paint, it will kind of come off a little bit. Just like that. I'm very carefully just going to wipe that off. There, I like those. Just going to add a tiny little bit more white to them. Sorry if my head gets in the way. There. Okay. Now I think she's done. I just had to add that extra little bit of cuteness to her. Not super even or anything, but I think that adds to the organic look of it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. Otherwise, I'll end up messing it up. I think it looks cute. hopefully you guys agree, whiskers or not, totally up to you, but I just felt like she needed some. So that is it for this color along. We finally finished her. I am obsessed with how she turned out. I am super happy that we went with a different color hair and that I followed my instinct, because I love the contrast with everything else. I feel like it's definitely, the hair just pulls you in, even though she's mostly monotoned, like almost everything on her is purple. And then everything around her is so colorful, yet your eyes still go towards her. So I feel like her hair definitely needed that. I'm really glad we made that decision. I'm curious on how the other hair color would have looked, but I think it just would have been a bit too much. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. Definitely no need for my nervousness. I think it turned out great. Hopefully you guys agree. Definitely got to show off the glitteriness. So we glittered up those eggs. They look beautiful. And then of course the banner. So we do have a little bit of glitteriness in there. Nothing too overwhelming, but just enough to add some extra touch to it. Let me know what you guys thought of this color along down in the comments. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future color alongs, any specific pages you want to color or things that you want to learn. If you colored along with me, I would love to see your finished page, so feel free to share it and tag me on Facebook or on Instagram. That way I can check them out. I would love to see them. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm gonna leave you here. So you guys take care, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. All right, guys, bye.
Stars fall at my feet, keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for me?